Hello and welcome to the live stream. We are live. So the way I'm gonna do these live streams on YouTube is that we will have them set up in a way that it's like a one-take video kind of thing, so I'm gonna just like do a little walkthrough as I'm doing each step for each of these pieces. So what I'm doing is, because I have the headgear ready for Rocksteady, which is the character from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, basically I'm going to just go in and do all the color gradients, shadows and all that stuff, and I'm just going to kind of walk through as I'm doing it. So you'll be able to come back to this video. This video will be available to watch on YouTube later on, so you can come back, and if there's something that you want to kind of learn, like how I do it a certain way or whatever, you can just kind of review the videos. So I think we'll live stream on YouTube maybe daily, and also Instagram, but we might try and kind of transition completely over to YouTube. So yeah, so without further ado, here we go. We're just gonna jump straight into it. So we're already doing the headgear piece for him. This is actually, the body is from Slimer and the shoes are from Slimer, and then there's a little dog chain there as well. So we have the ink layer for the headgear, and then I have a layer below it. I like putting it just below, and I call that one color. And then how I drop the colors into the color layer is I set the ink layer as reference, and then when you go to the color layer, whatever colors you want to drop in will just go into in between the lines, if that makes sense. So just double tap with just one tap with two fingers will erase. So we're using the iPad Pro here. This is Procreate is the program, and I have a little reference window set up so you can actually see the full image. So I'm just going to go and grab some colors for this guy. So we want like a light gray. Let's go to the disc. Want maybe, yeah, something like that gray. It's just a very light gray, and then we want relatively dark gray as well. Let me see, do I have anything in here? Maybe something like this. We need maybe a bit more kind of, let's see, a little bit darker, a little bit more blue in it. Bit too much blue. I think that will do for now anyway. We can change up the colours later on. It won't be an issue. But his eyes are actually like yellow, so we'll just go and drop a yellow into the eyes, and then his teeth would be white basically. So if you just double tap on the color wheel, if you double tap beside the black, it'll go to true black. If you double tap beside the white, it'll go to the true white. So we're just going to use that and just fill these in, and then we can move on to our texture layer. I like putting the texture layer in after the color layer so that it just feels a little better to work on as well. So how I do that is I have a certain color that I use. It's kind of like a nearly black, but it's kind of more kind of reddish tone. And then I have a texture brush. This is called a Smooth Copicat Texture Dark. It's by Bardot or Bardot brushes, so you could search that on Google or whatever. So then I just go in and actually, first of all, we need to do that on a separate layer than the color layer, and we'll just rename that one to text, as in texture. And then we will use the clipping mask, so that'll clip it to the color layer. And then you see when we start to actually draw, it doesn't go outside of the color layer. So I'm just gonna do that in real light here. and it looks a bit crazy now, but we just go in the little N over here, which is like your different you know, you've got a bunch of different settings. I don't know what these are called, filters maybe. So I use hard light, and then I drop the opacity way down to about 20%. And you can see that already gives it a bit of a texture. I want to give it more texture. So I go up to the adjustments layer. I should really have my phone on silent, shouldn't I? Adjustments layer, and then I go to halftone. And look, if I zoom in here, we'll see. I'm going to put this to 2.5%. That's just the sweet spot for the canvas size that I use. You can see that gives it this kind of, nearly like a canvasy kind of texture. So now that we have the texture done, it kind of darkens the colors a little bit as well. So keep that in mind. But you see I have a same texture on all of the different parts of the artwork, except the face actually. But I will be putting the textures on the faces as well. So this project is actually an NFT project for Graffitikings. I'll explain more about it as we're going through it. But so I'm going to add another layer in between the color layer and the texture layer, and I'm going to call that layer grads for gradients. I might as well just call it gradients to stop any confusion. So gradients are basically going to be, it's kind of like, you know, a nice kind of blend into the color. So you can imagine maybe a dark gray is getting blended into this, and it blends out into the color that's already underneath. So I'm kind of shit at explaining things, but let me pick a color. For example, we'll just grab this one. I like to use the soft brush for this, and then if you have your ink layer set as reference, you'll be able to select areas while you're on a separate layer. So I'm on the gradients layer. I'm going to go into the selection tool. It's going to be automatic, and I'm going to select just that area. But you want to make sure that your threshold is up fairly high. If you can see this here, the threshold, if you hold on it and then move it up and down, there's a percentage. You want to get it as close to the top as you can without it covering the whole thing. So do that, and then set this brush to be a little larger. You can see that it starts to create this kind of gradiated effect. And we have, you can see there's loads of lines going across it. That's just like the mask. We want to just maybe hide it up a little bit more. I want to give it just a little bit of a gradient. This is not your shadow layer. This is not my shadow layer, I should say. But I like to give it a little bit of a gradient. I also like to tone down the gradient a little bit, just to around 80%. Just turn that off. And we can use lighter colors as well if we want to maybe select that area and then go from the opposite side and add like maybe a different color. It could be yellow, could be orange, could be whatever color you want. It might actually go in with a little bit of white. So we'll leave it like that, just for now anyway. Jolene, how are you? So I am going to try and interact with the chat as well during these live videos. I wasn't too sure if anyone would actually be here or not. Oh, I was supposed to actually post this comment to say where is everybody watching from in the world, but there we go, I posted it now anyway, just in case anyone is actually watching live. So I might add a little bit of orange into the eyes. So if I go and select this and then just grab maybe kind of like a dark brownish kind of color, and let's just go over and tone down the brush. Just add a little bit of a gradient. Them lines might be quite annoying actually when you're watching this. I'm good, Jolene, thank you. So if I go in here to preferences, mask visibility. I'm just going to tone it down so that it's not kind of, you know, getting on anybody's nerves. So I'll go in selection tool again, just go in here and add a little bit of gradient. I just select this one again and just add a little bit more. From Canary Islands, wow, awesome. What's the weather like over there? I say it's amazing, is it? So that is those done. With the main head part, I just used like a very dark kind of grey colour. You know, just kind of build it up a little bit, especially in like the kind of bottom areas as well. So maybe in around the ear as well. We are going to be adding in our own shadows. I like to use, as you can see from that, well, from this, I use like harsh shadows as well. And I think it just looks, that combined with the gradients kind of just makes it look fairly cool. It just gives it my kind of style. So we'll just go in and add some of this gradient in. And we can play around with the opacity of the gradient then as well. We don't have to have it that it's so dark, but maybe on this side. So I might actually tone it down a little bit further, just maybe about 70%. And then we can go in and start with the actual shadows. So the shadows, it's going to be a separate layer again. So on the gradients layer, I like to go above the gradients layer. And we'll name that one shadows. Easy peasy. And then for shadows, what I like to do, I used to do it like just black, but now Tony Tripp, one of my followers over on Instagram, he suggested using purple, and then if you go into your, I don't know what these are called, I think they're like filters or something, and scroll up to multiply, and then set the opacity down to about 30 or 40%. Let's see, when I use the syrup brush for this, when we go in and draw, we're in the right one, here we are. Not too sure why that's not. Oh, I have the selection tool still on. I couldn't see the actual selection because we toned down the mask layer, but so you'll see that creates the shadows. And these are going to be harsh kind of shadows, but what I like about doing it this way is that you can do it on all of the different colors, and it's very similar kind of shadow, so you don't have to be going and changing, finding different colors and stuff like that. So we can also use the color dropper to fill in larger areas, but we need to turn off the reference layer, otherwise it won't work. So turn off the reference layer on the ink layer, and then go back to the shadows layer, and then you'll be able to drop in the colors. How's the weather there by me? It's cloudy today, and it is, it's not too cold, it's alright, but I'm just going to add in like a couple of little kind of textures like this, just to make it a bit more fun. Yay, fun. So I like adding in like little bits. If we just put this up a little bit, I like adding in kind of little areas like this, just to just give a bit of texture as well. We might actually tone it down a little bit. We might tone this one, especially because this is a lighter color. This grey is, you know, lighter than this one. So we might set that one as 20%, and then even like the teeth, we'll do that on the same layer as that one. But then we might set up a second shadow layer, and we'll have that. We'll be using the same color and all that stuff, but we will be setting the opacity differently so that it's kind of, all the shadows will kind of match up. So hopefully doing it this way. Alicia, how are you? Glad you could make it. So hopefully doing it this way and posting to YouTube means that we can, you know, you guys can come back and look at this later on if you need some tips or stuff like that, you know. Canary Islands has a volcano at the moment. Jesus. Like, that it erupted, did it? So a bit of shadow on the eyes. We're doing this on the same layer as well. That's 20% opacity, just so it's not as harsh of a shadow. And then we'll do a second shadow layer. We'll just call this one Shadows 2. And we're using the same, we have to set it to multiply. We're using the same color. Been erupting for 18 days now, I believe. Been watching it on YouTube. No way. Never even heard anything about it. So we'll set this one to 30%. This should be... It's crazy, I don't be like looking at any kind of news stuff. It's crazy just to hear these things then. K11, how's it going? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in, appreciate it. As I mentioned, all of these will be, you'll be able to watch them back if anyone needs any kind of like tips or anything. We're only just going to do the headgear piece, so I'm basically just walking through how I do, like, say, one piece, because it applies then to the rest of the character as well. So I do the same kind of what would you call it, like the same process for all of the entire character. Basically going to be like one take videos, and hopefully they will help to kind of boost my YouTube channel a little bit as well before we start posting the real videos. Which I am going to start to make hopefully now over the Christmas time. I'll be doing another NFT project actually. Won't be as big as this one. I mean, I'll only be doing like one artwork for it, but it's going to be a project. Simon D contacted me there this morning, asked would I be interested in doing a project. I said yes, of course. It'll just be one art piece that I will be submitting. I think there's going to be 15 other artists as well, so that should be fun. The idea behind it is kind of like, it's a New York fat cap, which is like a spray paint cap, and basically we're kind of like a model of that, a 3D model of it, and it'll be kind of like spinning around or whatever, and I'll be just doing artworks on that, and hopefully it'll look cool. You like how your gift was chopped liver next to that Ironlac package. Well, that Ironlac package was massive, wasn't it? Like, and it was exciting that it had gotten lost and then it came back. But no, I loved your gift. It was awesome. Looking forward to working with that paper, doing some artworks that size. So I like to do a little bit of a highlight kind of on the opposite side of where the shadows are, just kind of says that there's shadows there, you know. If there's a lot of shadow going on in a certain area, I like to add those little kind of rim light, I think they're called, something like that. Yeah, the pencil extenders, oh, they're gonna come in so handy. Now I just need to pare down all my pencils. Oh, it's gonna make it so much easier to actually use my pencils now, because I do have a good few of them are actually like little tiny bits of pencils. It looks like the exposure on this video is a little bit low. It was a bit too high, so I toned the exposure down. But now it looks a little bit low. It's probably because I'm working with like dark colours and they've got the dark gloves on and stuff. So maybe I'll have to set it a little bit higher next time, just so it kind of balances out. I done a quick little test this morning for the YouTube. I thought I was going to have to wait like 24 hours before I could start actually live streaming, but because I had seen that on a different video, someone saying that, but that didn't happen. As soon as I clicked start live streaming, it just started live streaming. But I set it then that it would be a private video, so no one else will be able to see it. But this one I have set to public, so you should be able to view this once it's finished. I should turn off notifications. Can I do that from here, I wonder? I have no idea. Well, I could just turn off Wi-Fi, I suppose. I got an Ethernet cable so that I could start live streaming to Facebook on the Graffitikings page, because I don't know why, but it was just not really working out when I was trying to live stream over there. So decided if I get maybe a Ethernet cable that it would hopefully work. So I will be probably live streaming over there on a daily basis from a certain time to a certain time each day as well. So there'll be a lot of live streaming going on. Just while we're doing this project as well, like, so it'll only be maybe like a 1 or 2 hour live stream. Tony, it is live, yes. But we're doing it in a way that hopefully, you know, I walk through it as I'm doing it, so that when we post it, or when it gets posted to YouTube, you'll be able to kind of go and grab little bits out of it. Any kind of little helpful tips. This is Rocksteady, a head gear anyway. The rest is the Slimer with his little ghost catcher box shoes. But yeah, the video will be available then on my YouTube for people to watch and grab whatever kind of tips they find helpful. Whoops, my camera went off there for a second, so there might be like a little kind of clip in the middle of it where it goes off. Hopefully I'll be able to maybe kind of trim that out. I don't know. The shoes turned out amazing. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. Actually, Tony is the guy there that suggested gave me that tip for using the purple. I'd highly suggest going and following Tony on Instagram. His art is sick. Mostly digital, is it, Tony? I think, as far as I'm aware. Maybe doing mostly shadow over this side. We'll pick out a few little bits, and but most of it's going to be shadow. I might just connect that up there and then do all shadow in here, and then we'll just pick out some little areas where we can erase some shadow. Usually I just go in and like go around all of this and then drop in the shadow, but we have time. We can do whatever we want. I'm not in a rush today. Let's see, just pick out a few little bits over here as well. Oh, I seen a couple of them. I know he tagged me in. What was? Oh yeah, Grolak. That's who you tagged. He tagged me in his stuff. I know him. He does be in our live streams. And I think he just recently started doing some live streams himself. Whoops. So just picking out a few little bits to kind of, add those little rim lights to, just so it's not as... You see, this is like shadow on shadow, so maybe if we just... My shit walk. I seen his stuff. He was doing a lot of like collaboration stuff with Simon D, who I'm going to be doing a NFT project with fairly soon. Right, so let's go and do the shadows over this side now. Yeah, Simon D is good, yeah. He actually bought my first NFT. I'm just doing this so that we can just erase those teeth then as well. But yeah, he's doing a project. It has like, I think there's going to be 15 artists creating 15 unique fat caps. And then I think he's doing like 15 himself then as well. So that should be a fun project. He's having like they're going to be like 3D models basically of the fat cap, and it's going to be like kind of rotating around, and I guess he'll probably maybe give us like a texture layer to work on, so that we can do like our artworks on that, and then they'll be kind of like transferred onto that model. So we'll see, hopefully that goes well. I think he runs like a couple of NFT pages as well. They used to be like graffiti pages, but now they're like NFT pages, so hopefully there's good traction behind it. You know, he has sold a lot of NFTs and stuff in the past, so it's definitely a project that hopefully will do well. Let's see. How long are we on now? I don't know. I don't even know how to check. I don't even know how to check like what my playtime and stuff is. Tried doing the Kitty Venom cult on OpenSea, but it was a major flop. Kitty Venom cult. Well, that's like a lot of projects. I think it was Gary V that was saying or something like that. A lot of projects, like most projects, are not going to make it, but there's still a chance, you know, like. So wouldn't let it put you down. It's just whatever project gets a bit of traction, you know. It's all like a variety with kitties. I did see there's a famous one, isn't there? The one with like cats. The only thing about OpenSea is like the gas fees on like Ethereum and all that is just so much. It's like I wanted to do like a big project with like the Buds kind of series, and that's one I sold. I sold one to Simon D. But it was just too expensive to pay all the gas fees to try and like list them all and all that. Olvar the Viking, how are you? Everything's good. Pokemon United is out to play and it's so fun. Have you checked it? Pokemon United? No, haven't seen around about it. Didn't even know there was. Never heard of it. Although I haven't been playing like any kind of games or anything lately. I've been just flat out walking and watching a little bit of TV here and there. Watching that Midnight Mass, which I think is pretty cool, but I called it from the start. I'm not gonna say any spoilers or anything, but I called it right from the start what it was about, because it doesn't really explain much about it, you know. And the wife is like, how the hell do you know these things? Like, just know, storytelling. I watched so many movies like as a kid, just kind of know when something's coming. Like, this is kind of bugging me over here. This shadow just doesn't look right or something. I might just add in like a couple of bits. Rhinocerosaurus is like, I know that's not it. Is it rhinoceros? Rhinoceros, that's the one. I like just adding, kind of these little It just kind of adds like a little bit of detail to it as well, but without adding detail. Kind of gives it a little bit of texture without adding too much texture, if that makes sense. I started to experience fatigue from these, yeah. Or are you pacing yourself? Good. I think I'm pacing myself alright. Like I'm basically doing like one a day, so around about that, you know, kind of like on average, it's turning out to be about one a day. I would like to be able to get maybe like 2 done a day. I think if I choose some, I have like 19 left to do. So if I maybe choose some simpler characters that I can just like throw in the same body shadows and stuff like that, and same kind of highlights and that, I should be able to get like 2 done per day. Other characters like, say, Rocksteady here, who's gonna have like a bunch of details on his body and stuff, that's going to be a little bit harder to do if I wanted to do 2 a day. But you know, are you doing those shadows with black colour in lower opacity, or are you just using a darker grey tone than the one you were using for the skin? No, I'm using, actually it's a tip that I got from Tony Tripp that's in the chat there. I'm using like a dark purple, so I just have a dark purple here set that I just keep moving it up into different palettes, and then you go into your, what are these called? Are these like filters or something? You set that to multiply, and then I set it to about 30% on opacity. It's kind of like the same as using the, you know, using the color black and then just toning down the opacity, but it gives a little bit more of a kind of a tone to it. I think it does. I really enjoy doing it this way now, since Tony put me onto it. Especially for this project as well, where I have to do like a bunch of them. And wanting them to all kind of look the same. So just add a few little bits here and there. How is the audio? If you can let me know, is it crisp, or is it like it's okay, or because I can put like filters and stuff on as well to help. But I think that's enough on the shadows. I think we'll leave it at that for the shadows. And now we'll go add in some highlights. So for highlights, above the shadows layer, I'm just going to add a new layer, rename it to highs for highlights, and then I want to grab white. So I'm going to go to the disk, double tap up beside the white, and then select my brush. Sounds pretty clean from this end. That's good. It looks like it's doing pretty well. Like it just says excellent connection, so I think the Ethernet cable was definitely worth buying. We'll add in a bit of a highlight, and then we'll just tone it down. So we might just tone it down to about 70% for now. We might even tone it down a bit further than that, but and we're just gonna add in some highlights. Yeah, we will tone it down even more than that, actually. Maybe about 50%. We don't want him to be looking like he's really shiny or anything. Audio is crisp and clean, my boy. Awesome. Can even listen to your sick music in the background. Yeah. These are just, this is called Stream Beats, the playlist that I'm listening to. I think by like Harris Geller or something like that. He's a YouTuber, and he made this for people to stream with. I'm just playing the beats off my Mac. I could actually play them directly through the stream so that the music would be nice and crisp. But then I wouldn't be able to hear any music, so that would be pretty shit. That's why I'm doing it this way. What I like about this brush is that you kind of have to like press down a little bit hard just to get the, which I wouldn't say is too good for your Apple Pencil or your screen protector, but I have a heavy kind of hand when it comes to drawing and stuff, so I like that we have to kind of press down a little bit harder. Now you can go in and adjust your pressure curve and all that kind of stuff, which is, I think it's up in preferences, edit pressure curve. I have mine just slightly up here so you don't have to press down as hard, but you can, you know, if you have a really light touch, you could put it way up here, and you know, that would be better for you. Or if you have like weak little hands or something. Like, I like the differences that you can get in pressure with this one. So this is the syrup brush, if anyone is wondering. I think I did say it earlier, but I probably didn't. So this live stream is kind of like a one take video explaining how I do these from start to finish. This character, probably not the best, he's just kind of grey. We probably would have been better off picking like a nice colourful character, but yeah, he looks okay. Might just add in like a couple of little these bits as well. And I'm not too sure about the latency and stuff like that. I might have to play around with that for live streams. I have it, I think, set on low latency, which looks to be okay. It's only maybe, there's a delay of maybe like 10 seconds or something like that between when I actually see your chat and when I can actually reply to it. Whereas on Instagram, I think it's, I don't know exactly, but it seems like it's pretty much real time, but maybe I'm just kind of like used to it over on Instagram, on the gram fam. Psychograph, how's it going? Thank you for tuning in, appreciate it. I'm gonna add a couple of little highlights here on the side as well, just for that little bit of a rim light. Probably could have made them like a little bit, you know, less on the opacity, just to, so they're not as strong, but fuck it. What time we got? 12:30. It's 12:30 PM here now in Ireland. I might go and do a live stream on the Graffitikings page over on Facebook today, just to test to see is the connection okay, and then we will set up like a certain time for the daily live stream and schedule that in. Just so we can build up hype for this project going forward, because it's only going to be another few weeks before we're actually going to be launching this, hopefully, if I can get all the artworks done. That's most of it. Let me see, does this, now we want to do a separate layer for this one, just so we can have a brighter highlight here in the eyes. And maybe for this one as well, actually. Right, I think that is it. We want to actually add a gradient, maybe like a yellow or a bluish kind of tone, just to the top of. So we'll hop back to our gradients layer, and we want to set our ink layer as reference first, actually. So then hop back to the gradients layer, select our brush, select the color that we want to put in here. So we might go something like this. Selection tools on automatic, just select the area we want to do it. You got contacts. I really want to get contacts. I'm sick of wearing glasses. How are they? Strange not wearing glasses, I would say so. Like, how long have you been wearing glasses? Years, probably. I'm just going to tone that down a little bit just to... It looks a lot different on the screen here in front of me than it does actually on this. Oh, whoops, that gradient is there as well. So I'm kind of raising two gradients at the same time. Might knock it back a little bit. Forever. Jesus. I'd say it is strange then. Let me see. I want to add like a little bit of a gradient in on the teeth. Maybe like add a little bit of a kind of color to them, so to make them look like they're kind of dirty. I think this camera can kind of like pick up a lot more, whereas on Instagram we couldn't really see it too well, you know. Moulin Jean, hello, so I really like your artwork. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you for dropping in. Oh, we don't have this selection set, so. Oh yeah, you had an eye patch when you were a kid, yeah. Your eyes get so dry, you won't have that problem. Yeah, I won't have that problem. Although it is nice to have eye drops on hand, isn't it? Sometimes, like, you know, staring at screens and all that kind of stuff for hours and hours every day, your eyes get kind of dry, so. Tony, they're going to sell them on their own NFT marketplace, which is going to be based over on the Wax network. So the Wax network like has like minimal gas fees, or maybe even none. I don't know. Like it seems like it's a very good place to sell NFTs. And I think it's getting kind of like, it's going to be bridged with the Ethereum blockchain at some point as well. So it has a lot going for it. So hopefully. Right, so that is that one pretty much done. I wouldn't really do much else to that. well, I probably actually would add maybe another kind of a gradient in here just to add a little bit of extra color. Maybe like a dark brown. Gradients layer were on there. But as far as not seeing frames when I'm working on art and the lenses not getting dirty, that's it as well. Like I hate like being able to kind of, I notice my frames like when I'm, even when I'm just like, you know, doing daily shit like in life. I hate the fact like that I keep like noticing my frames and stuff. I'm just adding a little bit of extra. Just gonna add a little bit of kind of color to this as well, you know. I don't like the fact that it's just so grey. How many of them I got done now? Well, once I get the full Rocksteady one done, that will be 14. So then we'll have 18 left to do. Yeah, I wanted to do around 20 of them, but then Graffitikings said that we should do 32 of them. So we're doing 32 of them. I might just tone down that gradients layer a tad bit more. 60% maybe. So yeah, that is the headgear piece done for the Rocksteady. And obviously he's on Slimer's body. But what we will do is go back out into gallery, duplicate that project, go into this one, and then combine all of these layers together so that we can put this onto a different one as well, you know. So copy. Am I doing environments too for the background, or just color splashes? Yeah, no, it's not going to be like environments. They're going to be just color splashes, different kinds of you know, like maybe some like pixel ones, some kind of like Tron inspired ones, a lot of kind of like crypto kind of, and maybe some psychedelic kind of ones and things like that. So it's not going to be too crazy. I'm just going to go in and drop into one of these. Let's do this guy, just to test this one and see what we can't do. Just paste that in, get rid of that one, move that over. There we go. So that's just him on this one. Stephen Pritchard, how's it going? I don't know, my chat might be a little bit kind of behind, but because of the latency. But so that is the Rocksteady one done. Obviously we can see we have like some nice chains in here. This is Leonardo's shoes, Reptar's tail, Crash Bandicoot's body, Skeletor's body armor kind of thing. And then this is my glove, little black gloves, because I always wear black gloves. And then a Reptar inspired sword and a Rocksteady headgear. So looks pretty cool. All good. See you using YouTube now. I'm seeing what it's going to be like, and hopefully, you know, posting these videos then to YouTube will help people. Because if they missed the live stream or whatever, they might be able to come here and basically get, you know, like tips and tricks and stuff on how to use this software and that. Olvar, bro, just got an idea for a Day of the Tentacle one. What do you think about that? Day of the Tentacle. I've never heard of it. I don't know what that is, unfortunately. Right, so we're going to leave it at that now for for this stream, and I will hopefully try and maybe do like, even if it's just like a 1 hour live stream on YouTube every day. Maybe we can do different things, you know, we can do not just like this project, but maybe I'll just spend 1 hour maybe going and doing an original artwork or something like that, analog with markers and all that kind of stuff, just to kind of get away from this kind of thing. Classic point and click game. I'll go and check it out after the stream now. Maybe I might know it, I don't know. I might have seen something about it before. Right, thank you guys for tuning in, I appreciate it, and hope you have a good day. Bye bye to everybody in the chat as well. You guys have a great day. Now I just have to figure out how to close the stream or end the stream. There we go, big button that says end stream, that might work. The board, we had all our names on it. Oh yeah, we could do that as well. You too, Oliver. Still want to see my finished Twofu tag. No problem. I'll have to find it first, but yeah. Right. Bye guys. Enjoy.